What's good, everybody? It's the Dime with Josh and Kwab. We would appreciate it if you clicked the subscribe button, if you put notifications on, as we are a growing NBA YouTube channel. We will dissect almost everything about the playoffs. We make no guarantees, but you know
You
what?
make
It's
no
going to be a
guarantees.
freaking good time. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below. Enjoy the episode. All right, let's move on to the Wolves and Suns. This is a very, very, very interesting matchup to me because I respect the Wolves. I have no respect for the Suns, and everything in my body wants to pick the Wolves here. And everything that I watch and read up and remember about these regular season matchups are like, no, Josh, don't pick the Wolves. So I've gone back and forth with this. I'll tell you who I went with after. But the Suns have been 3-0 versus the Wolves this year. They've kicked the crap out of them, essentially. Quab, is this just a bad matchup for Minnesota? Like, how do you explain that? A bad matchup? Is it just kind of regular season? Don't take it seriously. Like, what is that to you?
I mean, I think it's just the Suns just present like a problem like that a lot of teams are not going to be able to solve, right? You have Bol, full stop. Okay, just
Right,
joking.
right, right. Of course, of course, of course,
Okay,
of
I'm
course, of
back.
course.
No, just when they basically have 3 players who are offensive juggernauts. Now, the one complaint about the Suns everybody has had is like they they could use a playmaker. They could use like a traditional point guard or just like somebody that's to kind of get them going when they hit little lulls during the course of a game. That's why a lot of times
Yeah,
they've lost a lot of games in the fourth quarter. But it's like at the same time, it's just they're kind of like, hey, here's the ball, go get a bucket, and it works. And it's been working for them for this long. Where it's just like, hey, just get Katie the ball, and you get to the spot. Get Booker the ball, who gets her spot. Bradley Beal the ball, who gets her spot. I wish they would use more like ball movement and screens, especially just to target like mismatches and such, which I feel
yeah,
like they will do against the Timberwolves because the reason why they were able to beat them a couple of times was they went after Mike Conley, like put
yeah.
they put Conley into action and attacked him. So I think it's a bad matchup for the Wolves. It's now can the Wolves win this series? Yes, they can.
Yeah.
I feel like they have enough where if depending on how Cat plays during the course of the series, because I think he's going to be a very big factor in this series. Because who it comes on defensive matchups, you know who Gobert is going to guard, who are you going to put Cat on, and that's gonna be a big factor. That's going to be a big
Grayson, no,
factor.
no, okay. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. I think the one thing that the Suns have over the Wolves too, which is like you saw it every year with the Jazz, right? When Rudy Gobert was in center, where it's just kind of like, we have the best rim protector in the league. And it's like, yeah, well, your rim protection don't mean shit when we're launching fucking threes and
yeah.
mid-range jumpers. Like that don't mean shit. Like, okay, so now you got to guard and close out at threes. Like it's great to have rim protection, but if you have a team like the Suns that rely on pull up shooting and spot up shooting and talent, ISO talent, and not necessarily getting,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and you have to rotate, and now you have Rudy Gobert rotating out. I was there for Terrence Mann's 40-point game, whatever it was, when the
yeah,
Jazz
that's
got
crazy.
eliminated by the. I was at that game, and just
Yeah,
a lot of people torch Rudy, but it's like, what do you want Rudy to do? His job is to be a rim, protector, and Ty Lue went small, and he had to go rush out, and he just couldn't do it because that's just not his. It's not what he's made to do. Like he just
yep.
he can't do that. So for me, I think that's why the Suns are a particular bad matchup for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Um, also you have all the talent in the world offensively. You have Booker, you have Beal, you have Durant. They're a really hard team to guard when they're sharing the ball and when they're able to play to their strengths. And I feel like they've been able to do that for 3 games at least.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important to ask this question: like, what Suns team are we going to see? Are we going to see the team that shows up against the Kawhi-less I don't know if Paul George is playing that game, but the Clippers and they lose by like 40, or are we going to see a team that went 3-0 against the Timberwolves? Like I don't know either. We asked the same question about the Cavs. What do you think about the Suns?
I mean, it's playoff time, so they can't if the reason why they got together was to try to win a championship. And the reason why
Yeah,
the owner was just like, yeah, trade everything away. Like and put this salary dumpster fire together like that's the Suns now was to win a chip. So they can't the right team needs to show up. The right team that does the right thing needs to show up. That's defensively, that's offensively. So you have enough vets on that team that should be able to get it right. So I feel like it should be the right Suns team that's showing up for this series.
All right. My X factor. This is gonna be weird. It's not a player. It's Frank Vogel.
Mm,
Um, I don't, both
mm.
offensively and defensively. How are you going to coach this series? How are you going to keep your team involved? How are you going to make sure that the right Suns team shows up? Because that's why I'm hesitant. Like I've kind of believed in the Suns all year. We've had them high in our power rankings at times. I remember when we kind of got into a little bit of a tussle beforehand about the Suns in our preseason power rankings. I wanted them higher than you wanted them because of all the talent. But they've had so many games where they just have fallen short or where they just look like they're not interested. And because of that, I'm actually picking the Timberwolves in 6 in this one. I
Ooh.
don't trust the Suns. I don't care that they're 3-0 against the Wolves. I don't care that they give them bad matchups. The Wolves play harder. They've played harder all year. They're not going to have to like flip a switch and turn it on. I don't care that the Suns went 3-0 against them. I think Anthony Edwards is a superstar. I think having Cat out there is going to help them a lot. The Suns, I don't trust them to play defense consistently throughout a whole game when you haven't shown me that you can do it for stretches of the season. They had a nice stretch in the middle of the season where they won, I think, like 8 or 9 in a row, something like that. I don't know the exact number. But aside from that, man, they've been a pretty average freaking team all year with average level of effort, with inconsistent effort. I can't trust a team like that, man. I think in the playoffs, your true identity comes out and you reveal for yourself who you are. And I trust the Minnesota Timberwolves to play 24/7. How well, that would be freaking weird if a game
Yeah,
was
that's
24 hours. But you
that's
get
true.
my point. I trust the Wolves play hard every game, every possession, and because of that, I got the Wolves winning in 6 here. Quad, what do you got?
Um, um, Anthony Edwards, a great philosopher, one time said that they have KD, but we have Jaden McDaniels. And because of that, I have the Suns in 6. So just
All right.
just yeah, I just feel like the Suns just have is their equation that it's hard to solve. It's
Yeah.
and
Yeah, but they're hard to solve, but it's like it's a hard equation to solve when the equation's on the blackboard, right? But if the teacher shows up and he's like, and he can't put the fucking equation on the board, it doesn't matter. That's my problem with the Suns.
I hear you. I completely understand what you're saying because it's just like the inconsistency, it's maddening. I just
Yeah.
I just feel like and you mentioned it before, like the Gobert conundrum with that, like in terms of what matchups is gonna be put out on the floor. Like you said, Frank Vogel it's your X factor just because you wonder how they're gonna play offensively, defensively. I wonder
Yeah.
how the Timberwolves are gonna play offensively, defensively, just because are you gonna go with the Twin Towers matchup and
Right.
try to just be bigger than them and just try to overpower them? But again, the Suns are a perimeter laden team, so they're gonna get your points from the three. They're gonna get their points for the mid range shots. You have When you have three players that are liable to go off, they can go off for like 40 points at any given like moment. It's hard to account for that. And also you have role players that have been playing well, like the Grayson Allens, the Royce O'Neal, and you still have Bobo. You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
You still
Bobo,
have Bobo, baby.
Bobo's right there. So when you put Bobo at the 5, what you gonna do? Huh? You know, like when Shaq's always say, yeah, he's like, yeah, Victor Wembanyama. Nah, Bobo's first. So you
Bobo.
have Bobo.
Bobo.
Nah, but no, seriously, I feel like the Suns will win this series. I think it's a bad matchup for the T Wolves. So I had Suns in 6, I want to say.